we have begun sharing in the sacrifice of Jesus, the sacrifice of obedience to the Father in solidarity with sinners. Baptism unites us to the sacrificial death and newness of life of Jesus. That is St. Paul. In union with Christ and in the power of the Holy Spirit, we, baptized, are enabled to offer our lives for God, and that involves dying to sin. Obedience to God involves dying to sin. Renunciation of sin and faith in God form the fundamental worship and sacrifice of the baptized, made possible by our sharing in the sacrifice and worship of Jesus. It is evident, my friends, that the living sacrifice of the baptized includes ethical demands. St. Paul tells us in the same letter that offering our bodies as a living sacrifice will happen only if we are not conformed to this world, but are transformed by the renewal of our minds, so that we may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Conformity to God's will is a key to the sacrifice of life of all the baptized. It also involves living in genuine love, contributing to the needs of others, rejoicing with those who rejoice, weeping with those who weep. Romans 12:9-21. So we are back where we started. Jesus' sacrifice or worship of obedience to the Father and communion with weak sinners is the same sacrifice that the baptized are asked to offer as a gift to the world. And this is so because we have received the life of Jesus first in baptism. And in every Eucharistic memorial of the sacrifice of Christ, we are taken up by the Holy Spirit into this life-giving power so that we can share it for the life of the world. It is ironic, however, that during the public ministry of Jesus, he was not always perceived as someone who offered a sacrifice pleasing to God. Instead of being praised for being obedient to God, he was frequently accused of disobedience, of transgressing the law of God. No wonder some people attributed his miracles to the power of the prince of demons, Beelzebul, rather than to divine intervention. His critics even took his repeated claims of oneness with God as blasphemy rather than as revelation of the truth about God. They concluded that God was not pleased with him, as they were not pleased with him. He was dangerous for the nation. He was dangerous for the temple. For indeed, Jesus' sacrifice of obedience took on a seemingly disobedient or irreverent expression.